I would like to make a few comments concerning the difference between the black revolution and the Negro revolution. There's a difference. When you study the historic nature of revolutions, the motive of a revolution, the objective of a revolution, and the result of a revolution, and the methods used in a revolution, you may change words. You may devise another program. You may change your goal and you may change your mind. Look at the American Revolution in 1776. That revolution was for what? For land. How was it? Why did they want land? Independence. How was it carried out? Bloodshed. Number one, it was based on land, the basis of independence. And the only way they could get it was bloodshed. The French Revolution, what was it based on? The landless against the landlord. What was it for? Land. How did they get it? Bloodshed. Was no love lost. Was no compromise. Was no negotiation. I'm telling you, you don't know what a revolution is. Because when you find out what it is, you'll get back in the alley. You'll get out of the way. The Russian Revolution, what was it based on? Land. The landless against the landlord. How did they bring it about? Bloodshed. You haven't got a revolution that doesn't involve bloodshed. And you're afraid to bleed. I said you're afraid to bleed. Long as the white man sent you to Korea, you bled. He sent you to Germany, you bled. He sent you to the South Pacific to fight the Japanese, you bled. You bleed for white people. But when it comes time to seeing your own churches being bombed and little black girls murdered, you haven't got no blood. So I cite these various revolutions, brothers and sisters, to show you, you don't have a peaceful revolution. You don't have a turn the other cheek revolution. There's no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. Only kind of revolution that's nonviolent is the Negro revolution. The only revolution based on loving your enemy is the Negro revolution. The only revolution in which the goal is a desegregated lunch counter, a desegregated theater, a desegregated park, and a desegregated public toilet. You can sit down next to white folks on the toilet. That's no revolution. Revolution is based on land. Land is the basis of all independence. Land is the basis of freedom, justice, and equality. The white man knows what a revolution is. How do you think he'll react to you when you learn what a real revolution is? You don't know what a revolution is. If you did, you wouldn't use that word. A revolution is bloody. Revolution is hostile. Revolution knows no compromise. Revolution overturns and destroys everything that gets in its way.
I gotta do it for posterity. Black Lives Matter forever. I didn't want to speak on it because you got a lot of people clout chasing. A lot of people that don't give two shits about black people, black and white, other races as well. A lot of people that would have saw George Floyd walking up the street and cross the street or ran or got on their phone like that lady did me the other morning. Start recording like I was gonna do her something. Black woman, by the way. But we don't want to talk about that, it seems. So I probably will. But I wasn't gonna talk about it because there's a lot of clout chasing going on, man. You know, there's a lot of people, man, like they disrespecting their elders, the people that held it down. You know, when y'all was, you know, talking about y'all bitches was bad and bougie and all. You know, I wonder how that's gonna change when everything come back. Like, you know, I mean, these are the questions we should be answering. If I was a white person, I would be like, so it's still okay for us to listen to music while you guys call each other niggas and talk about killing each other? But we're not gonna talk about that. So, so. I want to do this for posterity. I want to do this for when my son gets older. First of all, I want to talk about COVID-19 too. Dude, I don't know. If you see this 20 years from now, and I don't know what they're going to teach y'all in school, I don't know who's going to write the history, I am lost. Like, I've heard so many different theories, and I don't know, honestly. Like, really, I don't know. Your daddy don't know. You gotta ask somebody else. I don't know. I think that it was something so they could try to knock out Trump. But then I'm like, okay, they wanted us to stay home, but I don't think they would want us to sit around and start thinking, you know? Like when I was young and go to church, like they would always have a program every night. This one, men's Bible study. This one, because they never want people to sit down and think. You know, Pol Pot and them did it in Cambodia. You know, they always would have meetings. But they always wanted these people to work hard and think, and not think. If you read the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, he says the same thing. When the slaves were off, when the enslaved human beings, I don't call them slaves, when the enslaved, our ancestors were off, they plied us with liquor. You know, they always party, just like now, you know. Every time we're off, it's always this party, that party, the game, you know. But once those distractions over, I don't understand. Like, they didn't think we was going to start thinking. I guess they thought we was just going to all just be watching Netflix. You know, now the genie's out of the bag because we can actually talk to each other and we can start thinking, you know. So, I don't know. Some people say it was to try to kill off a substantial amount of, you know, the baby boomers, the older people, so we can usher in a new way of thinking. I don't know. I just wonder if I'm here 20 years from now, I'd like to know what your college professors, if there is a such thing as college, but I'd like to know what they're teaching y'all, like what really happened, because I'm lost, man. I mean, first you say, if everything they saying was true, we'd all be dead. Because when they had the so-called lockdowns, people were everywhere. I mean, there was more traffic because you would have did better if you would let everybody go to work and you had less people, you know, in certain spaces. You go in Walmart, it was like the Terror Dome in there. You go any store, it was like you had all these people in there. So basically, you were like forcing more people to come together. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just wild to me. And they still, to this day, they want us to wear masks. And they still haven't opened up everything. And I am lost and confused. I don't know who it been. Somebody getting paid, though. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm not as sophisticated as some of these other guys on Twitter or whatever. So, but anyway, back to Black Lives Matter. I'm an expert on that. Police brutality. I'm an expert on that. I can sit here and tell stories from now until the sun go down about police brutality. You can ask your uncles. I mean, I remember I was living in an apartment. I walked to the store. They stopped me. Got what I was getting from the store. Came back. They stopped me again. I say, "What y'all think I did in 3 minutes?" Like, I remember I was washing my car in front of my house. They pulled up on me and put me in handcuffs and told me, "You live here. You need to prove you live here." I said, "Wow, if it wasn't for the little apartment manager, I don't know what would have happened to me." I was coming home from work one night, 1 o'clock in the morning. I used to ride a bike to work, and I was coming home one day. Two black policemen came. It's like, it's raining. I got a work uniform on. They're like, "What you doing out here?" They said, "We've had reports of guys riding bikes, stealing cars." I give them my ID. I didn't run nothing. They said, "Oh, you a good boy." However many times they've said that. "Oh, you a good boy." When they would run your ID. But man, I had them run up on me in the 7 one day. I'm coming with my little niece. Dude told me I got weed because I got dreads in my head. When I called the complaint, then he won't call the insurance company and say I didn't have insurance. So, NOPD can go to fucking hell. That's all that they can kneel down and fucking jump in a river. You know what I mean? Like if y'all are stupid enough to believe that, they just don't want y'all to tear up them white folks' stuff. That's all that's about. And as we come to it, I'm going to put in the intro a snippet from Malcolm X. Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Garvey, those guys had it right. Study those guys, man. See, we done went down to W.E.B. Du Bois, and if you look at some of my old videos where I talk about that, how you had the freedmen, the color of the Reconstruction video I did. Let me get the book.